name is Scott Burke. I'm the AEC Cloud Solutions Program Manager here at Imagine. So I work with our team in relation to all of the Autodesk BIM 360 tools. And what I'm talking about today is a new feature that was released about 4, maybe 5 weeks ago, which is part of the BIM 360 build tool. And it's within the project management module, which is meeting minutes. So again, with the new meeting minutes module here, this is or the meeting minutes tool that's within the project management module. The project management module is one of the tools that makes up the BIM 360 build suite, which is the project management module and the field module. So again, up here, you can see where that's now located right next to RFIs and submittals. There's now a new meeting module, and it says preview. So this is different than beta. When you have a beta piece of software, that means that some features may not work as expected or it's not fully vetted out. In this case, what this means is any feature that is here works fine. It just may not have all the planned features in it yet, but anything that is here does work, of course. So again, with this new meeting minutes module here, there's no more hunting for those lost meetings. You have meeting minutes that you can track and make sure they're being dealt with. You have accountability, and you don't have the risk of unanswerable claims. That someone claims something happened in a meeting. Well, you have your meeting minutes here, and they're printed, they're reported. They're part of the project now. They're all integrated fully here. So this makes it very easy to manage these meetings right in the software. When you're in a meeting, you'd open up the meeting minutes and start typing them and dealing with them as they come along. And again, it allows you now to really truly organize this and again, keep it all in the system so you're not using Word files and other documents or other word processing files. That's really a big important part and thing that people need to understand with BIM 360 Build and any of the BIM 360 projects. I'm always getting people asking for tracking email. Well, the whole point is the email is completely removed from the solution now, because all the communication and everything should be happening in the system. And this is just another tool that's not only eliminating email communication from meetings, right? It's also eliminating the Word files, the doc files that go with it. So again, it's consolidating everything in a one single cohesive place. So this is essentially the meeting minutes module workflow here. So again, you have organizers who start the meeting, they create a meeting, they put in an agenda. They would then invite other people into the meeting. They can basically, even once the meeting has been created with an agenda, you can even export it out as a nice, very formal looking PDF file that if you want, you can send out an email that way if you need it, or if you just wanted to make a external record that sometimes you're required to do, which is understandable. So you have that ability. You can, of course, record people attending the meeting so they're in the system. You can, of course, record the meeting minutes. You can mark official meeting minutes and then push things forward that don't get resolved in the meeting and generate a follow-up meeting, and then, of course, repeat the process there. So accessing meetings here, you would have now a list of all the meetings. You can pick a date range to the left there and see all your meetings and whether the meetings are open or new meetings were created from them. So you have all those lists between the official meetings now. All the project admins can have full access to all the agendas and the minutes. Meeting organizers can only view and edit agendas and minutes they created. And meeting invitees can only view agendas and meetings they have been invited to. So it's very secure. So again, you would just create a new meeting agenda, create the new meeting, date, time, invite people to it. And then when someone is invited, they would receive an email saying that they were invited to a meeting, but all the information, again, is in the system. With BIM 360, email's only purpose is to act as a notification tool only. No information is communicated in email, unless, of course, you went and sent someone a PDF file, of course. So anyone who has access to the project management module, so if you have access to build and you've given that person access to the project management module within the build environment, they would have access to the meetings tab and can create an agenda. And when you create an agenda, you automatically become the meeting organizer, and you, as the organizer of your meeting, have full control of that meeting, not of anyone else's. And of course, you would enter the meeting, the date, the time, the title, description, and this is very much like a true database tool, is that as you type, it's just saving it. So if you just get halfway through something and then you accidentally close your web browser down, everything you last typed is still there. Just stopped at the last point you did it. So basically, it just saves as you type things in. And again, you can add assignees and due dates and all those things to it. And then during the meeting, you'd have this open, you'd have preset agendas, and then you could close the items or keep them open and then move them to the next one or create other new items as you're working. At the end of the meeting, you can put a summary in there. Again, the organizers have the full control of capturing these meeting and assigning items and due dates and things like that. Similar to creating the agenda, new topics can be added and edited during the meeting. And again, once the meeting minutes are finalized, you can mark this as the whole meeting is finalized, and it converts them to the final kind of meeting minutes agenda or file, if you will. And you could even export that out at any time as a PDF file if you need to give it to people who are outside the system or weren't part of the meeting and they weren't invited to it, but you just want to give them a record of that, or if you need to have a printed record that you store internally, which sometimes is a requirement of projects, you have that ability here. And of course, as you create meeting items, if they're not going to be resolved in that meeting, you can push them forward to the next meeting and create a follow-up meeting from the meeting that you're in, and then those items will be basically carried forward here. So you can easily generate those follow-up meetings. All the meeting items from the current meeting will copy over if they're still open. And you can, of course, then make necessary changes to the new meeting, new date, invite others to it if needed, add additional topics, all those things. And then, of course, you can easily export these meetings as a PDF report. So anytime you need to do it, just a pre-meeting that you just want the agenda, any of those things, you just hit a button up in the right-hand corner there, and you can go ahead and export that out as a PDF file. So let's take a look at this in the system here. So let me get into BIM 360 and we'll close too many windows. There we go. So now I'm on my project homepage. So I would go over to my module selector and go over to project management. Inside of project management, we see RFI submittals and of course the new meeting minutes module right here. So this is simply a new tool under the project management tool. We have RFIs and submittals. This is the next line. Next tool here is meeting minutes, of course. So on the left side here, I could select a date range and see all the meetings that are in this week, this month, or I could just pick a date range here. I could say, show me all the meetings from here until here. If that's what I need to do, select a range, and I'm allowed to basically pick, multiple date ranges, if you will, like that. Or again, I could say just this week, just today, or just this month. So it's very easy to go ahead and select those or just clear that. And then this will just simply then show, all the meetings. And again, I could look at the 9th specifically, see, and there's no meetings there. I just have one meeting that so far I've really created in the system. So I would see it a month view here, and this is the one meeting. So I've created this meeting. And again, just to show you the process, it's very simple. You would just create a new meeting here. And you create the new meeting, you would give it a title. You would select a date for the meeting, when the time is going to start and stop. You would just type in the location for your meeting, conference room, whatever. You would give the meeting a brief description. And then here you would type in the various different topics. And at the end of the meeting, you might put a meeting summary in, right? That would be the following part. On the right side here, we see any organizers that are part of the meeting. So if I back this up and I go over to this one here, so the meeting I've already created. So clash coordination issues, structural versus MEP. So that's my meeting topic. The meeting is going to be tomorrow on the 20th from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. It's going to be in Building A, Conference Room 304. On the right side here, I've invited people into the meeting. So I have John Jones from the MEP company and Sam Smith from ABC Structural and myself as the organizer. And again, I can come in here and I can, during the meeting, then I would mark these as attended as the meeting starts. But right now I'm doing the preview of the meeting. I'm creating it. So I'm setting a description here. I've invited others into it. I can hit add attendees here and I can invite in anyone else I want to the meeting if need be. And I add that person in. So now they've been invited as the attendee. You can only have one organizer here, as far as I know anyway. I think as you add others, you might be able to do that. Or, hey, I don't want this person in that meeting. Let me just go ahead and remove that, or make this person also an organizer as well. So I've made them an organizer. So now I have two organizers. That means that any of us can run the meeting. If I can't make it, Joe can do it. If I can do it, then Joe doesn't need to attend, or maybe both of us will. But again, that way we have that option. I've given Joe also control of the meeting too. So maybe he's not really going to attend it, but in case I'm out for the day or on site or doing something, Joe can also have full control of this meeting because he's also been designated as an organizer. So now I have all the people that I want for the meeting. Again, I've typed in a description, and again, as you're typing things in, it's just saving. There is no save button. So this is like a real database. That's typically how real databases work. As you type things, they're just being saved as you type them. So that's a really nice tool here. So again, meeting discussion here. So this is where we're going ahead and creating the meeting items. And you can see I get that little button right here. See this? I can actually move them and make that item too, and see how it renumbered. Or right here, meeting organizer, I want to take this meeting agenda, see the little grid there? That's basically like a grip. See, as you move things around, it can reorganize your topics very easy here. And right there, I can just add basically items to the topic, and then I can add additional topics. So this is the topic, and then the topic has within it multiple meeting items, and I can even collapse that, see, and add additional topics, and then those topics will have those meeting agendas, those items under it. So we have our topics, and then we have the items that we're actually discussing. So that's really just a title of the grouping, the part of the meeting. Maybe it's a two-part meeting, and we want to first deal with this, and then we'll have other topics that will then have other meeting minutes in it. And of course, as I'm working in a meeting, maybe we had another item. I could hit add item and add another item here. People who should be involved. So that's what I'm doing here is, oh, we forgot to put in an item here that we need to confirm the people who will be involved in this process. So during the meeting, we realized that we forgot this item, so I just added it in. So now that's a new open item. I can then add maybe just a completely different topic or a different topic related to the main one and have its own information in there. And then the meeting summary would, after we finish the meeting, we would type that in here. So this is where the meeting would be at this point. It's been scheduled. I put in what I want to talk about this, and because I've invited these people to it, they can get in and see this agenda. What I can also do, like I said, is I can export this out as a PDF file, and then that PDF file would be, of course, viewable. And then I would have that meeting right here. Oops, make sure I'm opening the right one here. I had yep, there it is, management, document management, there we go. So I have, issues, other things that I can basically put in here. Like I said, I can have a meeting agenda. So I'll just do that right now as I'll hit my export. So now it's creating the PDF report here. And based on whoever has organized the meeting, it will put that person's company's logo up on the right-hand corner. So it looks like a really nice official document here. You'll see in a second. Let me just save this to my desktop, and then I'll go ahead and open it. So when we open that meeting, you see here, it's a meeting agenda, the project name. I see my company logo right here because I'm the one creating it. Here is the information about the meeting, date and time, invitees and attendance. So in this case, they haven't attended yet, so we're just sending out the agenda for the meeting. And again, we have my meeting discussions. These are the items that we're going to be talking about. And as you can see, they're all open, of course. There's no meeting summary yet because we haven't done the meeting. So this is basically just, hey, here's the agenda for the meeting. If you are going to use Outlook to remind someone, you could attach this to the Outlook meeting so everyone has a copy of the agenda if that's what you want to do. But again, this information is all inside of the BIM 360 environment. And again, I can get out of this just by hitting the little arrow here to go back to the list. And then when the meeting starts, I would start the meeting by simply waiting for everyone to come into the conference room, right? I would open my meeting. Then as people come in, I would then mark them as attended. So everyone here has attended the meeting. So now they've attended the meeting. Now it's, oh, this person had to leave, they couldn't make it. I can unattend, I can just remove that. So now we can go through each of these items. And as we go through each of these items, we can close them. Or I could even come in and even remove the item if I feel like it's something that needs to be removed. So all these items are closed. The only thing that maybe we haven't done yet is we haven't figured out who should be involved in the process of managing these clashes, right? So right here, the meeting organizer, and we have to select times for these meetings to happen. We need to update the meeting model frequency needs to be increased to 3 times a week because we're not updating the models enough, and so on here. Or hey, maybe this needed to be at the front list. Actually, that's the most important items. What's the root cause? Maybe that's really it. What's the root cause of all these problems we're having, right? So again, these items are closed. This is the last item that we just haven't decided upon yet. And I might have had a follow-up item here too and add another item, but maybe this is all I need. And I'll just say, so we're in the meeting now, and I'm going to say all meeting items were resolved here, except for those who need to attend those who need to perform these functions, like so. So there we go, and perform. So that's just a summary of the meeting. We've closed everything except for this one item right here. So what I want to do now is I want to create a follow-up meeting for this to deal with this. So maybe we're going to choose a date for the follow-up meeting, and this is going to be Monday, and I'll create that. So now this is the follow-up meeting, and because that was an open item, it was automatically brought in. All the other stuff is exactly the same. Maybe I want to change this title, selection of team. Let's add that in there. So that's just the agenda there. So all follow-up meetings for this will be renamed, of course. There we go. And then again, I can set the date and time. Maybe it's all the same here, all the same information. We just need to confirm people who will be involved in the process. So now this meeting minute this agenda is completed. I'm going to go back to the other meeting now. This is the original meeting, and I'm going to mark this as minutes. This locks the meeting. Now an organizer can unlock it, but this is now the official meeting minutes. Mark as minutes. So now this is a completed meeting. Again, I can export that out as an Excel, as a PDF file, of course, if needed. Because I am the organizer and so is Joe, either of us could reopen this meeting if we needed to adjust something later or add some more notes that we just didn't have time to add, but we still wanted to make it a finished meeting, so we did that. So now we have the finished meeting here. So now notice here, it doesn't say agenda anymore because the meeting has been completed. We marked it as minutes. So it now says meeting minutes up here. We have the information for that. We have the people who attended in this case. We have all the closed items, and we have the open item that has not been completed yet. So that's going to be moved on to the next meeting. So we, again, always have that paper trail and literally a piece of paper or PDF if needed, if we need to export that information out. So this is meeting minutes. This is an official meeting. It's completed. Then we would, of course, move over to the next meeting. So now we're going to go to the next meeting here, and we go into that one. The yellow means it's still open. It's an agenda, where blue means it's marked as official meetings. The agenda is yellow here. I could also send this out. This is what we're covering in this meeting. Again, we come in here and we mark this maybe now as closed, and then I get on to the meeting summary, and we agreed that John Jones and Sam Smith will perform these meetings. And there we go. So now that's done. All the items are closed. There's no follow-up meeting for this now, so we can go ahead and I can just mark that as meetings and mark it as minutes, meant to say, sorry, and mark as minutes here. So now again, the meeting is fully completed. I can go back to the master list. I can see these two meetings here and one that I just haven't bothered to finish yet. In this case, you can't delete them, but you could I could void this out. Let's say it's an accidental meeting that I created, right? I could just come in here and just call it void. That's fine. There's no other stuff in here, and I'm done with this. And I can just go, I can even mark it as minutes and completed, or just so it's kind of closed, right? So I'm going to mark it as minutes. Now, some of the future features may have abilities to turn this off. I actually don't know, but again, this is what's available now. So if it's an invalid one, you can just put in void in there, and that's fine for that. And maybe just number them so that they get treated as such, so we know that that's not a real meeting. But these are the real meetings. You can see right here that if they're blue, they're marked as minutes. See, and if they are yellow, it's still an agenda because the meeting hasn't yet happened. So again, that's what's nice about this is that we can now track all of this in one place. So now we have an ability to take even more of the project and get it into the BIM 360 environment. So now we're tracking our RFIs, submittals, meeting minutes, checklists, all those things. And there's more features coming that will be involved here so they can get more and more of the project in a single product as opposed to having to have some tools for cost estimation, other tools for asset management, and other tools for what BIM 360 does, and so on. So we're getting more and more consolidation here. So again, you can have that singular integrated platform for all this information, and that's really the key here to BIM 360 is, of course, that consolidation, the ability to have all your data in a single place. And again, with all the data in a single place, when you're on your project home, you're able to see, of course, all that information in one place. At the moment, I don't know if they've built any cards here yet. Like we can take a look. That's one thing I haven't looked at. See, under customize here, there are things that you can put on here. I just don't know if they have any of the meeting minutes in here yet. I don't think so, no. So I don't see the meeting minutes yet, but I'm sure that there will eventually be maybe some sort of card that you can maybe see a summary of meetings that have happened here as well. Basically just like this list of project issues, you might have a list of meeting minutes. And again, it's still going to be based on what you have access to. So again, briefly in summary here, project management is where meeting minutes are stored. Anyone can create a meeting if they have been given access to the project management portal. And whoever creates the meeting is the organizer of that and has control of that meeting. Now, of course, full project administrators have access to all meetings and can do anything they want to any of the meetings. But those who are regular users, if they create a meeting and they can, they're the only ones that have control of it, other than, of course, project administrators or those who they've designated as, co-meeting organizers, right? So that's what I did with that first meeting. Even though I'm running this, I set Joe here as a backup organizer so that he could run the meeting if for some reason I couldn't make it to the meeting. Like I said, I had something else come up. I had to be on a job site that resolved something and so on. So that just gives me that backup of that person. If they're not already a full administrator, that is another member like myself, they can come in and take over this meeting and then obviously add more attendees to it. Again, see, you can reopen the meeting. Typically, if you're going to reopen a meeting, you're not adding, maybe there was someone you forgot to add that attended it, right? That's fine. Or maybe you just, I just wanted to fill out more of the summary because maybe during the meeting, I just typed in a quick note. And then I wanted to come back and I wanted to make it as a marked meeting so people could see what we talked about, knowing later that I might want to come back in and add some more meeting information to the meeting summary, some more follow-up items and such. So again, you have a lot of control here for this system. So this was a fairly short topic, but I think it's a fairly powerful tool. So at this point, I just wanted to open it up for any questions.